So your PC sucks and you can't run GTA 5 and Battlefield 4 at the highest settings. Oh, boo-hoo. Well, things might seem terrible, but don't fear. There are still hundreds of games out there that can run on just about anything. And I'm going to show you a few today. And just to prove that these games can run on anything, we're going to benchmark them on Draenor. Now, if you don't know Draenor, you can watch that video. But basically, he's not really a gaming PC. He turned 13 this year, has a simple Pentium 4, a little bit of RAM, Intel 945 GL graphics with a whopping 64 megs of video memory, and Windows XP. Nothing fancy. But this video isn't about a fancy PC. It's about old games that can run on just about anything. So here's my top 10 list. Enjoy. First thing to know is that a lot of these games can be found on the Classic Gaming Network for free, and the rest are on goodoldgames.com for pretty good prices, so I'll pop a link to both their sites below if you want to try out any of these games. First off, number 10, Quake Classic, or Quake 1 as it's better known. This is an absolute classic game. Since the system requirements mention that all you really need is a Pentium processor and 16 megs of RAM, I think we should be fine. Draenor had no trouble running the game at 1024 by 768, pulling 61 FPS at the best and 31 at the worst. Number 9, The House of the Dead. Just like the other Sega PC titles of the time, this game looks like it came right off the Sega Saturn. But to be honest, I like the graphics, they are kinda nostalgic for me. This is a great little on-rails shooter from the late 90s that genuinely had some great jump scares and really gets quite challenging in its later stages. It reeks of terrible voice acting and horrible graphics, but it's very entertaining and is a pleasant reminder of the days in which all 3D games looked like this. Number 8 is of course GTA Vice City. This is a more demanding one, but with the settings lowered, frame rates weren't too bad on Draenor, where we saw a perfectly nice 38 FPS for the max and 26 most of the time. This game is beyond fun, and there are times where I honestly prefer it to the newer, more complex GTA 5. Just cruising down the street with a nice tune going is really rather pleasant. And if you're willing to drop that resolution down to 640 by 480, the game becomes even more playable, pulling 34 frames per second as an average. Number 7 is Halo. I personally know that this game can run on anything, because we used to play it in high school, where all the PCs were truly horrendously slow. But that didn't stop us from enjoying the overpowered pistols and warthog battles this game has become so famous for. I've already reviewed this one, so check out that video if you want to hear more about that game. Now, frame rates weren't really great because this is a more graphically challenging game, but with the settings as low as possible at a resolution of 800 by 600 we got 20 FPS at the worst, 30 at the best, and a pretty constant 24 for most of the time. Now, I know 24 FPS is great for film, but it's just not that enjoyable in games. On to number 6, and that is the delightfully gruesome Metal Slug series. These are 2D shooters that were on the highly expensive but excellent Neo Geo console. They are gruesome, they're kinda bullshit, but they totally kick ass. And since they originally ran on a Motorola 6800, your PC is bound to have no trouble with them. Draenor had no trouble keeping the frame rates well above 50 FPS for a majority of the time. The game hovered around a perfectly playable 60 FPS. Number 5 is of course Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 and 2. The game I am presenting here is number 2, of course. I am guilty of spending absurd amounts of time playing this game and the next one in the list as a child. Rollercoaster Tycoon is just relaxing to play. You just have to build a few things and watch the money roll in. The graphics are charming and there is always so much to do. I absolutely love the Rollercoaster Tycoon series, with the third one being my all-time favorite. While that one might require a reasonable PC, the first two can run on just about anything, as Draenor barely ever slipped below 60 FPS at any time during gameplay. Number 4 is the absolutely classic SimCity 2000. Oh, this game, it is one of my all-time favorites. The soundtrack. Hilarious newspapers, that noise it makes when you smash something, it's just so satisfying. And since it's old as balls, you know for sure that it'll run on your PC just fine. I don't even need to show a benchmark for this one. Number 3 is the incredibly hectic but excellent Quake III Arena. This game doesn't ask for much hardware-wise and is probably the most fun you can have with your pants on. It's gory, gruesome and great, but be warned it's not for the faint-hearted. On Draenor we got 7 FPS at the worst, 62 at the best and an average of 47, all at this resolution of 800 by 600 on the medium settings. This is a game that is best played socially, so get a few friends together, take a few shots or smoke a joint or whatever, and enjoy a truly hectic deathmatch. Number 2 is CS 1.6, or CounterStrike Original as it is better known. This game is one of the most enjoyable shooters I've played to this day. The controls are really tight, and best of all, since it runs on the HalfLife engine, you know it will be smooth, no matter what hardware you throw it onto. Draenor managed 70 FPS at the best and 20 FPS at the worst, all at that resolution of 1024 by 768 at the maximum settings. Now, what you've been waiting for, the number 1 game to play on an old PC is...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kid Pix, come on and play with Kid Pix. Change it up, draw it up, move it up, there it is. And the sound.
Number 1 game to play on an old PC is HalfLife, in my opinion. If you watch this channel regularly, you probably saw this one coming, but you can't argue that Half-Life is still a really enjoyable game. The game feels better to play than some of the shooters that are coming out today, and the story and soundtrack are still really quite nice. In terms of frame rates, Draenor had no trouble pulling a tasty 63 FPS at the best and 58 FPS for most of the time. Anyway, that concludes our top 10 list of games that can run on underpowered hardware. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like this kind of goofy computer content, please do like and subscribe and enjoy the rest of your evening. I plan to do a Q&A video soon, so if you have any questions about me, my videos, or my computers, be sure to hit us up at greenhammailbox@gmail.com. I'd also love to see what you guys are doing with your PCs and feature a few in my videos, so please feel free to send us some photos of your rig if you'd like, because no matter how old or new, I'm sure people would love to see it. Thanks again and good night. Am I 13 or am I 12? Well, I'm actually 11, but I think I'm gonna go for this one. Hope the placements don't come.
Thinking